Thank you.
Sure.
Can you hear me now, Ms. Benavides? Okay. Everybody else good? You good now? All right. I see Scott joined us. Are we up in room 5? Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Andrea. All right. Well, with that, if everybody is ready, call this meeting to order. The time is 6:06. What's that? Is yours still not on? Okay. All right. Sounds good. Okay. Item 1A, call meeting to order. 6:06, Pledge of Allegiance. If we can please stand. Ready? Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Moving on to item A3, attendance. Ms. Marukin,
Board President Lopez,
present.
Board Vice President Molina, Clerk Tienda,
Present.
Trustee Garza,
Present.
Trustee Vasquez. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item B, approval of agenda. I want to bring something to the board's attention. Item 2E has been requested to be deleted from our agenda. The California Department of Education has requested to add additional language for clarification on that particular issue. So on item E2, so I'm requesting that when we get more clarity from the CDE, we will be able to bring that back. So again, that's deleting item E2. Are there any other clarifications or adjustments to the agenda?
There's a E4, E5, and H4.
Yes. Okay. So according to some changes to the agenda, on item E4, in the background summary, paragraph 4 should read on April 28th, 2020. That is for a resolution that is coming before the board. In item E5, under agreement, it should be Parlier Unified School District held on May 12th, 2020. And there is a change in the board clerk. The board clerk was listed incorrectly. It should list Elizabeth Tienda. And then under the name for the contract, it should be Ruben Diaz, should be inserted as Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction. That is on page 11 on 11. And then in closed session, administrative certificated personnel report assignments should read 4 instead of 3. So board, you have those changes in front of you. Again, I'll ask, is there any questions or clarifications? Is there any questions or comments on approval of the agenda from the public?
Yes, we have one.
Sí, tenemos una.
What's that? Yeah, I know.
Andrea, right here. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay. That's
Okay,
it. There it is.
there you go.
Okay, ya puedes hablar.
Ok. Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Rosa Mora. Estoy a tocante, no sé si la pasaron o no la pasaron, la E5, la E6, a donde viene siendo el contrato del señor Díaz, y digo del señor Robles, y tocante a lo que viene siendo el contrato para que le ayuden al señor Díaz. No estoy de acuerdo en el hecho de que el señor Robles dijo que él en 3 años sacaría este distrito adelante.
Ok, señora, déjala para ahí. Ahorita estamos discutiendo las cosas para la agenda, no las cosas que
Ok,
van a estar.
está bien.
Y todavía no ha pasado eso. Are there any other comments in regards to approval of the agenda? Seeing none, may I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Garza. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Vasquez. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to item C, presentation reports. C1, distance learning. Mr. Diaz.
Yes, good evening. So for you tonight, we have first presentation, informational item, distance learning. And so this is our check-in where we're at right now with our distance learning update. You can see from the handouts for student check-ins at the school sites, everybody's been pretty consistent. We've had maybe 1 or 2 student averages up or down from April 27th through the week of May 4th. Principals are just doing simple counts as to how many students are checking in online during the day. And so those are the numbers there. And then also wanted to update the board on the grading guidelines that we've went ahead and shared out. And so our teachers collaborated with us, and then our administrators as well, in that making sure we were able to put together and put forth a grading guideline that everybody was good with. And so the hold harmless guideline allows students, they can go ahead and go with the 3rd quarter progress report that was back on March 13th. That can be their final grade. Or should they choose to, they can turn in, submit work during the 4th quarter that would enhance the student grade to finish the year off with their final grade. Happy to answer any questions for the distance learning update.
Just click on settings and you will
Thank you. Are there any questions from the board? Okay. Seeing none, thank you very much, sir. Moving on to item C2, federal program monitoring update. Mr. Diaz.
Yes, sir. So our federal program monitoring review update where we're at right now. So this is again carrying on from 2 weeks ago. In the 2 weeks, we have cleared another item that is the uniform complaint procedure number 5. So that has been cleared. Items that are currently in process, meaning right now we've received revisions from the state office. And so we are currently working on these. Fiscal management 02, uniform complaint 01, 02, 06, and physical education 06 and 08. We also received revisions literally about an hour ago for EL 04, 05, and 06. So we also have some clear direction to get those and hopefully can be uploading them by the end of this week. Items that are uploaded at the state level and waiting for response. Again, those are for you listed there. Educational equity 1 through 9. So there's all 9 items are submitted in and waiting for response. English language 3, English language 14 and 15. And then from the 17-18 review, we still have English language 6, 18, and 19 that are also in the system awaiting review. The district has been in verbal communication with the reviewers for EL and PE to discuss specific items that they're looking for. They have requested very specific information be shared out with staff through professional developments. And so those have already been scheduled. And we'll be holding PE on Thursday. We'll be holding a EL for our administrators and we'll be doing parent engagement as well as oversight of placement of EL students in their ELD classes. And that will also be coming up very soon in the next 2 weeks. The district and Pinnacle Consulting, we communicate daily, most of the time, several times a day, just to ensure that as communication comes in from CDE, that we're trying to catch as much as possible, and then work collaboratively in problem solving and getting items ready to go for review again. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? Mr. Diaz, I had a question. In regards to the items that are awaiting response, do you anticipate that based on the items that we have had so far, is that something that we anticipate should be clearing up in the next couple of days? Are we looking a couple of weeks or maybe a couple of months?
For educational equity, unfortunately, the reviewer has been taking anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks to respond. And so this is actually the third time that we've posted up an educational equity. And so from what we understand, the reviewer has some other reviews going on concurrently, but like I said, she takes from 2 to 3 weeks to respond. Our PE reviewer, she responds within a day or two. So it's, she's been pretty good with us. Our EL reviewer also has been very good with us, holding phone calls and returning our messages. And then unfortunately, our uniform complaint person, we went almost a month with no communication. So what we'll do is in those cases, we contact the supervisor for FPM, and that usually can get the ball rolling again. But we have been in contact just trying to get these items clarified. So from education equity, we're hoping in the next week or two that we can clear those items. We feel we've sufficiently answered all of their requests. And then English language, that's just building a program that the state is satisfied with and can show that it's sustainable.
Thanks, sir.
Mhm.
Any other questions? All right, seeing none, thank you. Moving on to item C3, summer school plan, Mr. Diaz.
Okay, and the final item for review tonight, and this is an update on summer school for summer 2020. Given the current pandemic, we are going to go ahead and offer summer school online. This will be a new endeavor for us. The summer school timelines will be from June 8th through July 17th. We'll run them in 3-week semesters. The 3-week semesters is actually driven by the high school, that in order for students to get through a module of one of the courses, it does take about 2 to 2.5 weeks of online screen time. And so we wanted to build in a cushion of a day or two, so that way our students could complete modules of a first semester or second semester class. We are proposing a 4-day week, so Monday through Thursday. The said curriculum, because it's all online, our 1st through 6th grade would work with a program called Pathblazer. And then 7th and 8th grade would work through MyPath. And the high school and San Joaquin Valley High School would work with Edgenuity. Because of where we're at with the online programs, they would be based in intervention, with high school being credit recovery. The programs themselves, there's some oversight and detail there for you, that each school site would identify 20 students per grade level. And with a module of an AM and PM session, each teacher could run 2 sessions, which would allow us for each grade level total in the district to have 80 kids, which is actually double from the number from last year. And so running 80 kids through our intervention program, we feel would really help with potential summer loss, bridging the gaps that tend to occur over the summer. And so given how much time our kids have been out of the classroom, we really wanted to try and get more kids into the summer program. So our teachers have already been instructed to identify and prioritize a list of 20 kids. And then we will start contacting those kids next week. Once we get a confirmation from the family, then we can go ahead and enroll them into the summer program. That will also work with technology, because then we can make sure that those kids have their devices, so that we can load up the summer school programming into their device. We can push it out to them. As for high school 912, that's going to be based on again, if students unfortunately earn a failing grade in any of their courses. And so again, through Edgenuity, we would be able to offer the students the opportunity to earn back those credits and then be able to move forward in the fall of 2020.
Thank you, sir. Any questions from the board? Yes, unmute yourself, Mr. Vasquez. Okay. Yes, Mr. Vasquez.
Okay, so then the staffing, would it be the same as it was last year, or how's the staffing gonna go?
So staffing for this year, we are going to have 4 administrators, but the positions are the same. So it's still a principal who oversees it, and then a learning director for K-8 and a learning director for high school. The learning director for the high school has to be able to work with the counselor, identifying students, like we said, unfortunately have earned a failing grade. And so that needs to be worked with the counselor and assigning students into courses that way. The learning director with the elementary, again, we're working with teachers, identifying which students and then placing students appropriately into the grade levels there. Principal would work on staffing and making sure that all electronic devices are assigned out appropriately to kids. And then from that point forward, it's just monitoring of students and staff and making sure we're good. As far as the staffing ratios, yes, we would follow the same numbers as last year, where we could staff from first grade up through 8th grade, 2 teachers per grade level. And then we'd also go 2 teachers at the high school level per core content area. And then we can assign up to 60 students utilizing the online platform. The teachers would oversee up to 60 students based in the online platform.
So we would be adding, I know we added a counselor last year. So
Yes.
will the counselor be added still again?
Yes, yeah, we definitely need to have a counselor during summer school time. The biggest benefit to having the counselor dedicated to summer school is the students, once we start that first 3 weeks, any high school student that earned a failing grade in the second semester, the counselor is identifying those students and placing them in for the second 3 weeks. And then once the first half ends, then that kicks in for the second half folks. And then what the counselor can do is jump back into the computer and make sure that the grades and credit transfer back to the first semester. So that way kids aren't repeating classes in the following academic year.
All right, thank you.
Yes, Mr. Molina.
Is that better?
Mhm.
Okay, so being it that we lost some of the academic year because of what's going on, are we gonna have classes for kids who maybe ain't struggling because their grades stopped in early March, and maybe help them get through the summer to catch up with some of the academics they missed because of this, so that way when they go into the next level, they're not behind? I mean, I think that's, I mean, I don't know how many people we could actually, kids we could register, but I think that's something we should look at. That way, if those kids are trying to be prepared for the next grade level, the way doing this online, all this going on, we lost some of their, the end of the school year, that academics were, they got to catch up.
Yes, sir. No, we lost a lot of momentum. I mean, there's no 2 ways about it. What we did though is last year we had 2 teachers per grade level, but because of the way that it was set up, each teacher was assigned 20 students. And so we were able to serve 40 students per grade level, right? This year, because of the online platform and because of the way we're going to set it up, we can actually do an AM session and then a PM session. And so the students in the AM session during the PM time would obviously be on their online platform, and then it would be flipped for the other side. That's why we can allocate 40 students per teacher this year with 2 teachers. Now we have 80 students that we can host during summer school. So to address that very issue, that's why we're deciding to go with this model, because it doubles the amount of kids that we can work with. Keep in mind, we are under a budget for summer school, so that's why we can't, we got to be careful with trying to hire additional teachers, because then that starts to throw off the budget. So
I agree with that, but I was just saying, because it's based on teacher recommendations.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So, I mean, I understand that, the teachers are going to recommend some of our lower performing kids, but there's some kids that have been high performing and maybe need to keep,
Oh,
you
get
get what I'm saying? Like,
I got what
we
you're
don't want to lose them and drop them next year because now of what happened. We're gonna have to get them caught up also.
right. Yeah, I understand that. That's a good point. And that's something we can address with our administration tomorrow when I meet with, pending approval, of course, meet with our summer school administration and we can draw that out.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. And
I have two questions.
yes, Ms. Linda.
I believe it was last year, the first time summer school was 4 days a week, so then it extended it a week. How did that end up working last year? And I'm not sure what staff teachers themselves preferred.
The feedback was they liked the 4 days and
Oh,
having 3-day weekends. So I think in summer that's still allowed for folks to get away for a 3-day weekend. Because it's online this year, I don't know if there's really going to be that big of an impact.
Okay.
But that was, again, the idea behind the 4-day week was offering 3-day weekends and then to also cut back on usage of facilities rather than 5 days a week, only 4 days a week.
Okay. Okay. And then second question, in regards to grades, is it, and maybe it's more specific, a question that we'd have for the high school. Is it counselors that input grades or is it the registrar that puts inputs in the grades? That way we make sure we hire or we give the appropriate hours to the appropriate personnel that's doing
Yeah.
the inputting.
Yeah, okay. No, I believe it was a registrar who put in the
Oh,
put in the physical grades, but it's the counselors who track them down.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Yeah, I have a couple, or I have one, actually.
Yes, Mr. Garza.
Mr. Diaz, what was the process for selecting Pathblazer, MyPath, for the online summer school? Can you touch on that a little bit?
Yes, sir. So Edgenuity is the provider to those software programs. We already have a contract with Edgenuity. So we have site licenses that we've already paid for through Parlor High School as well as San Joaquin Valley High School. So we do have staff that are trained on it already. It's a known product and it's worked for our kids. MyPath, when I talked to Edgenuity about summer school for Edgenuity, MyPath was actually in the purchase agreement already. And so again, it's another benefit. We don't have to purchase any additional licenses. The only thing we do have to do is provide professional development for the teachers that'll be working with MyPath. In that same conversation, Pathblazer is the elementary program that was introduced this year specifically because of COVID-19 and the school closures. And so this is meant as an intervention program to start building the gaps that unfortunately for any learning loss that has happened. And so being that it's part of the Edgenuity suite, it made sense to stay with the suite. And then that way, as we provide PD, it's already uniformed for our entire staff.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Garza. Any other questions? Yes, Mr. Vasquez.
How would lunch roll with that?
So the lunch program, that's separate in terms of how the food services can do their schedule. But because the kids aren't on campus physically, it wouldn't interfere with it. Now, what we'll work with administration is how we did the online schedule now that we created that hour break so that the students could have that hour of lunch to go pick up lunches. We will again take that into consideration for meal serving times so that students have that hour and a half break to go pick up lunches.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right. Seeing none, thank you, Mr. Diaz.
You're welcome.
Moving on to item D, routine consent agenda. In order to promote effective meetings, the board may bundle a number of items and act upon them together by a single vote through the use of a consent agenda. Consent agenda items shall be items of a routine nature and items for which board discussion is not anticipated and for which the superintendent recommends approval. Is there a motion for approval of item D, routine consent agenda items?
Motion.
Moved by Mr. Garza,
Second.
second by Ms. Tienda. Are there any comments in regards to D from the public? Okay, hearing none. Any questions or clarifications from the board? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Excuse me, we do have one parent who'd like to speak.
Okay.
I don't know, where they go back, they go to that one, they jump from that 5 to
So again, we are currently on item D, routine consent agenda. That is covering item D1, approval of minutes, and D2, ratify payments of warrants that we've occurred from April 1st through April 31st only. Okay, seeing none.
Yeah, just because they're.
Okay, Ms. Affronti, is there someone in your room that wishes to speak?
Okay, not for this section.
Okay, thank you. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes, voice vote. Moving on to item E, general agenda. Item 1A, or sorry, E1, first reading, board policy 4113.5A, working remotely. Mr. Griffin?
This is the policy that would govern the procedures that we put in place already, and it matches what we're doing with regards to our staffing or working remotely. This is for your approval on a first reading basis. Any questions?
Thank you. Is there a motion for item E1? Moved by Mr. Garza.
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second?
Seconded by Ms. Tienda. Is there anyone in the public that wishes to comment on E1?
Yes, we have one.
Sobre el D1, yo no sé cómo es que están trabajando y los dan una agenda a ustedes para que sigamos las reglas como deben de ir y están brincándose al E5, al E6, al D1 y están brincando los demás temas. No les entiendo cómo están brincando como chapulines. ¿Ustedes no quieren escuchar lo que exactamente están poniendo o lo que pusieron no quieren que sepamos nosotros o cómo está eso?
Any other comment on item E1?
No, pues automáticamente ustedes están haciendo lo que quieren con la agenda. Aquí primero hicieron una cosa, ahora brincaron al otro lado. Están brincándose todas las páginas, como que están ustedes nomás organizando para lo que les conviene a ustedes.
So again, sir, we are following the agenda.
No entiendo nada de lo que están
We've been going on item D, approve that. We are on item E, which is E1, first reading. Do you have a comment on the board policy 4113.5?
La política ustedes la hacen y la quiebran automáticamente. Se autodominan, se dan votaciones ustedes mismos, se autoemplean ustedes mismos y despiden gente que sirve y a los que no sirven no los dejan. No, mejor me quedo callado.
Anyone else in the public wishes to comment on E1?
No, not at this time.
Okay. Any questions or clarifications from the board? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor of first reading for policy, well, it's just a first reading, so information only. Correct? Right? Okay. Next on our agenda is item E3, second reading, board policy 6157, distance learning. Mr. Diaz?
Thank you, Mr. Lopez. Yep, okay. All right, so for you tonight, for your consideration, second reading for board policy 6157, which is distance learning. This is recommended from Gamut and CSBA regarding distance learning. It covers areas including instruction, staff development, use of materials, equity access, and also technology. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. So with this being the second reading, this is coming up for adoption. Is that correct, Mr. Diaz?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion for approval? Motion by Ms. Tienda. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Garza. Is there anyone in the public that wishes to comment on E3, board policy in regards to distance learning?
Yes.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Brenda Rojas. Especificando el E3, creo que mi opinión con el aprendizaje en distancia no se me hace lo correcto, ni creo que están tomando los pasos necesarios, porque en lo personal, a mis niños que van en elemental, les están enseñando, en vez de que les estén enseñando una educación, les están enseñando que el maestro tiene novia, que el maestro se va de shopping, que el maestro se va para donde sea. Creo que eso es algo que no va en la educación de un niño, en lo académico, porque en primer lugar, si el señor Díaz, si no está supervisando a los maestros cómo están dando la clase en línea, está muy mal, porque en vez de que les estén enseñando educación al niño, los están haciendo más berrinchudos. En primer lugar. En segundo lugar, los maestros de la high school igual no están dando la clase como se debería. Y yo como papá creo que se tiene que tomar la misma responsabilidad, tanto línea virtual como en escuela. Y tenemos que tener tanto los respetos de los maestros hacia los alumnos como el alumno de los maestros. Se tiene que respetar tal y cual, como se debe el respeto de uno hacia el otro, y lo cual no están teniendo ni esa disciplina, ni lo que se debe de implementar en las clases virtuales, por lo cual en lo particular como mamá creo que es un fracaso, fue un fracaso porque no es lo que queremos como papás que le enseñen a los niños, y me gustaría que pusieran más atención. Gracias.
Any other public comment on E3?
Sí, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Rosa Mora. Yo tuve una conversación con Ashley y con el señor Díaz y la señora Barboa a tocante la educación por línea, a donde los maestros mismos les están diciendo a los niños que se salgan porque tienen una buena calificación y no necesitan la educación. Creo que en mi personal, creo que a los maestros se les están pagando para que den la educación a cualquier niño con altas calificaciones, bajas calificaciones y en general. No es una llamada que yo he hecho, son varias llamadas a donde les dicen a los niños, sálganse, desconéctense. Maestros que les están dando 20 minutos. Y si no, averiguan con sus maestros. Yo les digo hasta a mis hijos, pongan la cámara para que los maestros vean que estoy con ustedes. Yo misma personalmente les he dicho a mis hijos que les manden mensajes y los tengo como comprobárselos, a donde le digo al maestro, yo quería hablar después con usted y usted ya se salió en 15, 10 minutos. Yo he estado teniendo comunicaciones con ustedes porque la clase virtual o la clase por computadora, la verdad no está funcionando, señores. Si ustedes piensan darle en la escuela de verano por computadora, es un fracaso rotundo. No hay padres aquí porque muchos están trabajando, pero queríamos hacer un grupo de padres. Y si ustedes no ponen atención, lo vamos a tener que hacer por escrito, porque deberían de estar monitoreando a sus maestros, a sus empleados. Ahora sí, a mí, como yo les he dicho, el coronavirus a mí me vino como al niño del dedo, porque sé qué maestros son responsables, qué maestros están trabajando con mis hijos y qué maestros no están trabajando. 5 o 10 minutos y ya se salen, a donde no tienen respeto, diremos, ni los maestros, ni nuestros hijos tampoco, porque voy en general, nuestros hijos, porque los maestros permiten que nuestros hijos jueguen como los maestros están diciendo qué deben de hacer, qué no deben de hacer, y eso no está bien, señores. Y se los he dicho, y hemos tenido conversaciones a tocante también cómo se deben de graduar los hijos. Gracias.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment on E3?
¿Algún otro comentario sobre lo que es el E3?
Yes.
Yes. Buenas tardes, José Moreira otra vez. Esta conversación que yo voy a hacer es respecto a lo que yo he mirado sobre el estudio supuestamente en línea hacia los niños. Francamente, yo opino que esa forma de enseñar como que no es la adecuada. Yo no sé, señor Díaz, yo no tengo nada contra usted, pero le voy a decir que los programas que usted está comprando son unos programas, ¿qué le podría decir yo? Que no son adecuados. Porque si yo fuera director de una escuela, lo primero que yo haría, compraba un programa donde yo tendría que bloquear todas las demás páginas, solamente tendría que poner lo que es de las escuelas para enseñarle lo que está enseñando el maestro hacia los alumnos, no para que estén las tabletas abiertas a diferentes foros, para que ellos estén en una esquina jugando y en la otra estén mirando las tarugadas, diría yo, que dicen los maestros a veces, oh, así se hace una foto, miren, así se toma una fotografía. De esta es la forma que ustedes pueden usar el iPad en su casa para sacarle provecho. Esas no son estudios, eso ya es algo que quiera aprender en la universidad un niño, ya sea que sea fotógrafo o quiera ser periodista o lo que sea. Las clases son clases por línea. Otra de las cosas, en lugar de darles las 5 horas que les daban, ahora les dan 1 hora nomás. Yo no sé qué van a hacer con los directores de las escuelas, si los van a mandar a barrer los parques o a limpiar las bancas, porque ellos no están haciendo nada. Yo he llamado a las escuelas, nadie contesta. Para saber si están en línea los maestros, para ver si los maestros están dando clases, porque les preguntan a mis hijos, ¿están en clase? Dicen, sí, pero dijo el maestro que ya venía, que en un ratito más. Y se pasa 1 hora, 2 horas. Otra de las cosas se ponen a hacer juntas cuando están los niños en clase. Oh, no va a haber jueves ni viernes clase porque vamos a tener unas conversaciones. Eso se hace en fin de semana. Si nomás están trabajando 1 hora o 2 horas, ¿para qué les quitan el tiempo a los niños? Yo soy la persona que me levanto desde las 4 de la mañana a hacer lunch para las personas que van a trabajar en mi casa. Me levanto a las 7, les hago el desayuno a mis hijos. Para las 8 ya están listos. Son las 9, 9:30 y a veces no están los maestros todavía en canal. Y les pregunto, ¿qué pasó? No, pues dice que no hay nadie todavía, ¿qué vamos a hacer? No hay nadie. Hay muchas cosas que no las están chequeando ustedes. Es bonito firmar programas y pagarles a la gente que tiene necesidad de agarrar el dinero, pero cuando se trata de supervisar, no hay nadie. Señor Díaz, yo no sé qué es lo que usted hace. Si yo fuera director de este distrito, francamente, no le volvía a contratar a usted jamás en la vida, porque todos los contratos que usted agarra son contratos de niños de kinder, cosas que no están funcionando. No hay supervisores. Despidieron un security, despidieron a los maestros con más trayectoria, que están más viejos, que pueden enseñarles más. ¿Por qué? Porque francamente no quieren que les digan cómo se debe trabajar, cómo es que se hacen las cosas para que la gente pueda progresar.
Sir, I want to remind you that this is in regards to distance learning, so keep your conversation to that, please.
No, pues es que si te lo estoy diciendo por cámara es porque francamente si te lo digo en persona también agachas la cabeza y me paras. Dices, no, pues no puedes hacer esto, no puedes hacer el otro. Son cosas que ustedes las tienen como mesa directiva, tienen que ponerle el ojo. No es porque él tiene la pluma y tiene el poder y el dinero de dejarlo.
So thank you, sir. If you were, again, we are talking about distance learning. If you wish to comment on that, you're more than welcome to continue.
Estoy diciendo que no sirven las clases, que no los están supervisando. Los maestros están haciendo lo que ellos quieren. Y ustedes bien, gracias.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment on E3?
No.
Okay. Seeing none, is there any questions or clarifications from the board? I had one in, Mr. Diaz, in looking at the board policy, there are items that are on there in regards to professionalism, conducting of the proper environment for what teachers are supposed to be doing, for how they are going to be conducting themselves as far as their environment, the times, restrictions, and that kind of stuff in policy, correct?
Excuse me.
Okay.
And we've lost our translator.
Uh-oh.
Did you hear me, Amy?
Yes.
Okay, so let me ask again.
Okay.
So In the board policy, does it have any information in regards to professionalism of the teacher, the environment in which they are going to be in order for distance learning to take place?
It doesn't call for specific language in terms of professionalism. What it calls on is that the teachers will provide instruction in a distance learning platform. What that platform looks like, and I think that's what CSBA was trying to recommend, was in the event of anything like this happening again or any type of school closure, that the district could provide distance learning, and what that looks like again is up to the district. And so whether that's in an online platform, which is where we're at now, or packet learning, which is where we started, whatever it may look like, that's what this is allowing some flexibility inside of. In terms of the professionalism, that would be monitored, obviously, I think, by our site administrators, by the district office administrative team, and just ensuring that if there is an issue going on in terms of background of what's happening, the environment, learning environment or whatnot, that we can address that professionally with any teacher or instructor if there's something in question.
I want to add to
Yes.
that. Did you still? Okay. So good thing for bringing that up, Mr. Lopez. Also wanted to add, making sure, I'm not sure if it like he said, it would be or maybe just calling them norms, that older teachers have their videos on during the sessions with the students. And I'm not sure, I think the last time we were told that there's like one teacher that does come on campus. Should a teacher, if we allow that, I'm not sure if it's allowed, should a teacher feel that their environment, the nice background or not a lot of outside noise since people are at home, the opportunity to come on campus into their own classrooms?
Yes.
Okay.
That actually was provided, yes.
Oh,
So
okay, good.
the teachers could reach out to their administrators that if they needed to be on campus during instructional time, they could be in their classroom. We actually had the request made because of internet. And so access to the internet, where teachers felt the internet at home didn't have the bandwidth to support the live streaming. So they had requested to come to the site and we were able to accommodate that.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, but the video and being able to see the students and the students being able to see their teacher, I think it's priority. And so that way we make sure that there's still that connection, even though we're not, that physical connection, they're able to see their teacher. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Ashley, can I have your assistance here for a second? I don't know where my video went. Just minimizing this portion. Oh, there we go. Okay, thank you. Sorry with the technical issues here. Okay, so again, any other questions or clarifications from the board? Okay, seeing none, is moved by Ms. Tienda, seconded by Mr. Garza to approve board policy 6157. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes, voice vote. Moving on to item E4, adopt resolution number 32/1920 on grading during emergency school closures. Mr. Diaz?
Yes, so before you tonight is a recommendation from CSBA for the board to consider adopting a resolution that would provide clarity in terms of our grading during the emergency school closure.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion for approval?
Motion.
Moved by Mr. Garza. Is there a second? seconded by Mr. Vasquez. Is there anyone in the public that wishes to comment on E4?
Yes.
Buenas tardes otra vez, mi nombre es Brenda Rojas. Pues no sé si va al comentario del 4, pero sí me gustaría saber también si están pensando o están tomando su mente a volar para que los niños estén seguros cuando regresen a la escuela el año pasado, porque creo que es importante de que así como gastan dinero en cosas que no deben, ahorita se tienen que poner a gastar dinero. Creo que es más necesario más enfermeras para que les estén chequeando a los niños la temperatura cuando lleguen de la casa a la escuela, para que los niños no lleven tos, no lleven gripa, no lleven nada, ninguna bacteria a la escuela. ¿Por qué? Porque ahorita, pues vamos a decir, pues todo está bien, pero cuando regresen los niños a la escuela es cuando va a venir el problema de que va a haber más niños enfermos, más niños que los papás, honestamente, los papás somos de las personas de que nos queremos quitar un problema de encima. Queremos mandar al niño en la escuela, como al principio se comentó. ¿Qué van a hacer los papás con los niños? Y como yo dije también, la responsabilidad mía como mamá es de yo responder por mi hijo, es de yo cuidar a mi hijo, darle comida, darle todo lo que pueda ayudar a mi niño y darle la atención a mi niño, lo cual también ahorita yo también quisiera que se pusieran a pensar en eso, de que tomen en cuenta contratar más enfermeras para que si se puede, a cada niño conforme vaya entrando a la escuela o que llegue al salón de clase, para que se les esté tomando la temperatura y si el niño va con fiebre o con tos o gripa, que se regrese a su casa. Porque para
So
no...
again, if I can interrupt here, again, the item is in regards to emergency school closures for grading.
Por eso, ok, pero por eso digo, pues no sé si venía al caso, pero como quiera se los dejo de tarea.
Is there any other public comment on E4, resolution for grading during emergency school closures?
Sí, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Rosa Mora, de vuelta. Yo tengo una preocupación, porque yo tengo entendido que les van a dejar las calificaciones que se hicieron en el mes de marzo. Los que tuvieron, por ejemplo, A, B, C, D, se los van a dejar allí y les están ayudando para que suban sus calificaciones. Pero una de mis preocupaciones, ¿qué es lo que van a hacer con esos niños que tuvieron puras Fs, que reprobaron 2, 3 clases? ¿Cómo van a aventajar ustedes a esos niños cuando los maestros les están diciendo que se salgan de las clases que ustedes les están dando? ¿Cómo van a graduarse esos niños del 12 grado? Porque también tienen derecho ellos a que se les haga una graduación, a que ellos participen y los padres también en una graduación. Entonces, si esos niños están bajo las tareas que ustedes están haciendo, el trabajo que están dando, la educación que está abajo, ¿qué tanto les va a beneficiar a esos niños? ¿Qué tanto lo van a aprovechar? Si los maestros nomás están dando, antes eran lunes, martes, miércoles y jueves. Ahorita nomás es lunes y miércoles, creo. Supuestamente dicen que hay maestros que están en línea para ayudarles, pero si el niño no tiene el interés o los padres no estamos allí, ustedes como directores, como profesores, como las consejeras, diremos, yo en la consejera no voy a decir nombres, pero en la consejera que me pertenece a mí, la verdad ha visto a mi hijo en 3, 4 materias con F y no se ha dignado de decir, señora Mora, su hijo bajó las calificaciones. Necesitamos tener una junta para que su hijo suba las calificaciones. Si no lo han hecho conmigo, que todo el tiempo estoy arriba de ustedes, no lo han hecho con otros padres, señores. Y eso les toca a los de la miembro directiva hacer ese trabajo. Por eso les escogió uno para que estén allí respaldando a nuestros hijos, señores. Yo sé que no les gusta que nosotros estemos aquí porque les estamos diciendo sus verdades. Como lo dije, vienen y contratan algo que no sirve porque los dejan ir de otros distritos y nada más paliar los agarra. Gracias, señores.
Thank you. Any other comment on E4?
No.
Seeing none, we'll bring it back to the board. Before we ask for questions or clarifications, Ms. Tienda, if you can please read the resolution.
Okay. Parlor Unified School District Resolution Number 32-19/20 on grading during emergency school closures. Whereas on March 4th, 2020, the Governor of California declared a state of emergency due to the outbreak and spread of a novel coronavirus, also known as COVID-19. And whereas on March 19th, 2020, the Governor of California issued an executive order directing all individuals living in the state of California to stay home or at their place of residence, with limited exception until further notice. And whereas on March 16th, 2020, the Parlier Unified School District closed schools to protect students and staff against the spread of COVID-19. And whereas, due to the safety concerns and the need for ongoing social distancing, the State Superintendent of Public Instruction stated it appears students will not return to school campuses before the end of the 2019-2020 school year. And whereas, it is necessary to ensure the continuation of public education to the greatest extent possible while maintaining the health and safety of the students and staff. And whereas, the board is committed to continued teaching and learning, including assessments and evaluation of work through alternative means during this prolonged period of school closure. And whereas it is imperative that the superintendent have the tools to ensure the health, safety, and well-being of students, staff, and families on and off campuses, and to ensure the educational needs of all students are addressed through alternative locations or virtual learning environments. Now, therefore it be resolved that during this time of school closures and until further notice, 1, teachers shall continue to provide instruction, assignments, and assessments using distance learning tools and resources. 2, the superintendent or designee shall collaborate with school administrators and teachers to develop and regularly review guidelines for attendance during instruction and the assignment of homework through distance learning and alternative means. 3, pursuant to Education Code 48205 and Board Policy 6154, homework, makeup work, students shall be given full credit for makeup work satisfactorily completed within a reasonable period of time and shall not be penalized for absences during school closures. 4, students shall be held harmless for their spring 2020 grades and the transition to distance learning. 5, Board Policy and Administrative Regulation 5121, grades, evaluation of student achievement shall be temporarily suspended during the period of school closure. 6, grades shall be calculated in a manner that reflects student achievement and learning and supports the preservation of the progress students made prior to school closure. Final grades shall be determined using all assigned work through the end of the semester. 7, teachers shall assign final grades based on students' third quarter grades or students' grades when the school shutdown occurred, with opportunities to increase the final grade. 8, students shall be given an opportunity to demonstrate understanding of applicable course content through assessments, projects, portfolios, or other means appropriate to the course content. The foregoing resolution was adopted this 12th of May, 2020.
Thank you, Ms. Tienda. I know that that was lengthy, but it had quite a bit of items that were on there that concerned from some of the parents. Is there any questions or clarifications from the board? Eric, Mr. Molina?
Yeah, I just have one. As far as the online, on this grading, did it have any adverse effect to our graduating seniors? Are we in line with the universities and the colleges as far as accepting them? Are we good? Does this coincide with their being admitted into these colleges? Or is that going to have no adverse effect?
No, there won't be any adverse effects. CSU and UC system both sent out advising how they would like to see grades. This will be a rare time that the UC or CSU system will allow credit, no credit, and not negatively affect GPAs. That has not been a normal past practice. So that's where we're taking advantage of that opportunity with our summer school program. And then as far as the letter grades, A, B, C, D, E, F, again, the whole harmless idea there is for a one-time opportunity for students to improve their grades, which again, CSU and UC systems have been in support with, that they'll recognize the final grades for all students.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions? Seeing none, it's moved by Mr. Garza, seconded by Mr. Vasquez to adopt resolution 32-1920. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries, voice vote. Item number E, moving on to item E5, renewal of Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction Employment Agreement. Mr. Robles?
Yes, good evening, everybody. So nice to see you all and so nice to have some of our community members back. We bring before you this evening an employment agreement for Assistant Superintendent Diaz. I know you've all had the opportunity to review the agreement. You've had the opportunity to input into its conditions, and we bring tonight for your consideration an extension of Mr. Diaz's employment agreement. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion for approval? Motion by Ms. Tienda. Is there a second? I'll second that motion. It's been moved by Ms. Tienda, seconded by Mr. Lopez for renewal of Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction Employment Agreement. Is there any public comment?
Yes.
Buenas noches, José Moreira otra vez. Ahora sí estamos en el E5, ¿verdad? No estoy equivocado.
That is correct.
Mande. I can hear you. Ok.
Yes, that is correct.
Pues yo creo que estas extensiones, yo estoy mirando que si yo fuera el que contrataba al personal, ¿verdad? Que yo quisiera tener en este distrito, como el puesto que tiene el señor Díaz, yo digo que a mí me daría vergüenza pedir una extensión para que me renueven el contrato, mirando yo que no estoy aportando nada para el distrito, lo que estoy haciendo es sacándole el dinero al distrito, dinero que francamente lo necesitan los niños. En esta pandemia, si ustedes tienen tantito cerebro, desgraciadamente yo no fui a la escuela, si no yo fuera más inteligente, lo primero que yo haría en este problema que estamos teniendo, las enfermeras no las ocupamos porque no están en la escuela ahorita. Les daría laid off por un tiempo. Permítame y no me va a interrumpir, por favor. Los guardias de seguridad de las high school, de las tampoco los necesitamos en estos momentos. Les daría laid off. Fíjense bien. Las secciones, pues, vamos a suponer la psicología, psicólogos, ¿para qué los queremos ahorita? Si no van a ver visualmente a los niños.
So again, sir, I must interrupt. The item is in regards to this specific contract, and nowhere in the contract is this contract have the ability for this individual to hire.
Sí, señores, escúcheme primero. Lo que le quiero dar a entender es que cómo yo voy a darle otro contrato y le voy a renovar a una persona que no está trabajando para nosotros, que solamente está firmando contratos a la ciega, no está mirando por el distrito, no está mirando por las escuelas. ¿Cómo podemos implementar? ¿Cómo podemos ahorrar el dinero? Hay muchas cosas que el señor Díaz no las está haciendo como debe ser. Entonces, ¿cómo le voy yo a firmar otro contrato, renovarle un contrato si se ha llevado, más bien dicho, casi hasta la quiebra está llevando a este distrito? Eso es lo que ustedes deben de entender. Ustedes con esa directiva yo creo que se comen el pastel juntos y por eso no les gusta que hable uno de ellos. ¿Para qué lo invitan a uno entonces? Gracias.
Thank you. Any other public comment on E5?
Yes.
Buenas tardes, de vuelta Rosa Mora. Como se lo dije hace ratito que me equivoqué. ¿Para qué vamos a hablar mucho si mismo el señor Robles dijo cuando se le dio el contrato para el distrito de Palier? Él dijo que si en 3 años él sacaba al distrito adelante y si no en 3 años él renunciaba. Entonces yo creo que ya le llegó la hora de que renuncie, porque en 3 años se ha visto que está corriendo personas que realmente aportaban a este distrito y personas que él está trayendo que realmente no funcionan, que no están dando nada. Él trajo a la señora Yori, que la verdad no sirve como educación especial. Trajo al señor Díaz, a donde el señor Díaz necesita una niñera para que le ayuden a solucionar sus problemas, los errores que él cometió. Él bien claro lo dijo. Si los comete Díaz, es su problema de él y que haga cómo resolver sus problemas. No, señores, no es así. Un equipo, como yo se los he dicho a ustedes, si un pelotero no sirve, para eso está el coach, para ayudarlo, para eso están los compañeros, para hacer un equipo, jugar en el mismo equipo. ¿Para qué? Para ganar, para meter goles. Pero aquí no es un equipo, aquí es un desequipo, que no vamos a ninguna parte. Eso depende de ustedes, señores mesas directivas. O piensan que porque el coronavirus no va a haber selecciones para que ustedes los renueven, pues déjenme decirles algo. Hagan algo por nuestros hijos de aquí. A usted, señor López, no se le olvide que muchos niños de aquí, que eran de las escuelas de aquí, lo quisieron mucho y votaron por usted. Porque así como era buen maestro, creían que iba a ser buen educador para traer muchas más mejores elecciones educativas a nuestra escuela, a nuestro distrito. La señora Tienda, hay muchachas que las quieren y la estiman. Hagan lo correcto, señores, así como lo están haciendo para el señor Vázquez. A los demás, la verdad, no los tomo en cuenta. ¿Por qué? Porque no han estado en este lugar del Palier. Pero muchos muchachos quieren a Vázquez. ¿Por qué? Porque el señor Vázquez es el único ahorita que se está enfocando en la educación de nuestros hijos, señores. Hagan lo correcto, como se los he dicho. ¿Quieren tirar el dinero? Síganlo tirando. Traigan algo bueno que nos dé más de su desempeño. No que ignoren o que vayan los niños y les digan, esto está pasando y pasando, y les hagan bullying todavía a las muchachas en nuestras escuelas. Porque hay comentarios. ¿Los quieren ver? Yo se los doy los mensajes que les dicen a las muchachas.
Thank you. Any other public comment on E5?
Yo otra vez, Brenda Rojas. Pues a ver si no me regaña, ¿verdad? Porque voy a salir regañada, pero I'm sorry, dijeron. Con respecto a la renovación del contrato, no sé si estoy bien o estoy mal, pero yo pienso que muchos maestros nos lo van a agradecer a nosotros como papás si ustedes toman lo correcto. ¿Por qué? Porque tanto los maestros también, porque en lo personal yo como papá tengo comentarios de muchos maestros que se me acercan a mí y los maestros dicen, pídele esto a los de la mesa del board. Y yo misma contesto, ¿por qué ustedes no lo hacen? Porque ellos tienen miedo de perder su trabajo. Pero al punto que vamos, no están haciendo el trabajo. Ahora, a la persona que se le está contratando, no son 10 pesos lo que se le está pagando, son miles de pesos. Si todos hablaran como habló Elizabeth hace rato, creo que fuera la mesa directiva perfecta de Parlier. Y desde que empecé a venir de la Junta, creo que es la primera vez, yo creo que por la epidemia que está, yo creo que, pues no es falta de respeto, pero yo creo que Elizabeth dijo algo coherente. O quizás la epidemia la está haciendo, sé una, digamos, una mujer sensata, porque honestamente, así tienen que pensar todos ustedes y tienen que hacer lo correcto. Piensen en los niños, no piensen en si le van a quitar el trabajo a alguien o si van a afectar a alguien. Sé que necesitan llevar un cheque a su casa, sé que necesitan la responsabilidad de pagar biles y todo, pero creo que lo principal es los maestros. Porque en primer lugar, ¿en dónde está de que tengan a los papás en las escuelas? Fue un fracaso de la Junta, es un fracaso de las reuniones, es un fracaso de todo. Nosotros como papás no estamos ahí. ¿Por qué? Porque los papás estamos enfadados de que digan algo y ustedes como equipo no lo hagan. Como se les hemos dicho, ya no los papás tenemos que buscarlos a ustedes. Ustedes tienen que buscarle a nosotros como papás. Hay que hacer lo que realmente tenemos que hacer. hay que trabajar en equipo, tanto papás como ustedes como mesa directiva. Creo que lo necesitamos y tenemos que estar más unidos, hoy más que nunca. Y como dicen, si el señor Díaz o a ustedes que van a votar por una extensión más o algo, ustedes que votan y ustedes que dan el voto, yo como papá se los pido que ustedes, así como dan el ok, también den el ok y se fajen bien los pantalones y hagan ustedes el trabajo de los que no lo pueden hacer.
Thank you. Any other comment on E5? Seeing none,
No
any
further.
comments or clarifications from the board? Okay, seeing none, Ms. Marroquin, if you can take a roll call vote on E5, renewal of Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction Employment Agreement.
Yes. Board President Lopez,
Yes?
Board Vice President Molina, Clerk Tienda,
Yes.
Trustee Garza,
Nay.
Trustee Vasquez.
Thank you. Let the record reflect. It was 3 in the affirmative, 2 in the negative. Needing a majority vote, motion passes. Moving on to item E6, contract extension for resolving federal monitoring program, finding Pinnacle educators. Mr. Robles?
Yeah, so you've had the opportunity to review the contract. Once we've got into the work, we realized that the task is a little larger than originally anticipated. And so we're coming before you this evening with a recommendation to extend the contract of our FPM consultant to see us through to the end of the project. We're making good progress, but there's still work to be done. And because this is such a high sensitive matter regarding compliance with the state and federal programs, we feel it would be in the district's best interest to extend. We bring that before you for your consideration this evening.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion for item E6? Again, bringing an item would be for discussion, if there's any discussion. Correct.
Motion for discussion, that's what all motions are for, correct?
That
Okay,
is correct.
motion.
So it's moved by Ms. Tienda. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Garza.
Oh, it's my team here.
Regards to item E6, is there any public input?
Yes.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Rosa Mora. Mi única pregunta sería, ¿ustedes están pidiendo más extensión para que se le pague a la persona que va a hacer todo todos los errores que cometió el señor Díaz? ¿Y eso lo está usando para el señor Robles? ¿O qué es a lo que se refiere? Si me pueden contestar.
Mr. Robles, would you care to answer that, please? Sure. The question was, what is the intent of the Pinnacle educators? Who are they servicing?
It is to assist our personnel in accumulation, documentation, and reporting of unresolved matters in the FPM review that was recently conducted.
Ok, entonces usted es el único responsable, porque yo cuando tuve una conversación con usted, a donde yo dije, bien clarito lo dije, que la señora Barboa no estaba capacitada y el señor Díaz iba a tener problemas. Y usted me contestó que ese era problemas del señor Díaz. Entonces, si es problema del señor Díaz, usted había de poner de su bolsillo usted y el señor Díaz y no quitarle ese dinero que pueden tener más educación nuestros hijos ahorita que la necesitan. Porque, como dicen por ahí, soldado avisado, no hay guerra o algo así, es un chiste que hay, no me lo acuerdo ahorita, pero ya se le había avisado. Todos los errores que cometen sus empleados, usted los va a estar solucionando con dinero para que esos errores estén o trayendo más empleados cuando ese dinero puede ser usado en otra forma. Entonces, eso nos está dando una alerta, que no están haciendo un trabajo correcto ni adecuado. Entonces, ha llegado el momento, con perdón de la palabra, de que usted salga también, señor Robles, porque usted dijo, bien clarito lo dijo, 3 años levantaba este distrito, si usted no se iba, usted no es una persona de palabra. Perdón.
Any other comment on E6?
Sí, buenas noches. Mi nombre es José Moreira nuevamente. Pues francamente estamos hablando de lo mismo, ¿verdad? El señor Robles también, yo me acuerdo que dijo eso. Mire, señor Moreira, yo le prometo que en 2 años yo voy a hacer un cambio drástico en esta escuela, en este distrito. Incluso fue hasta mi casa, personalmente, y no me da vergüenza
Okay,
de...
so again, I want to remind you that this is in regards to the extension
Sí.
of a contract with Pinnacle Educators.
Sí, sí, con la niñera del señor Robles y el señor Díaz, con el que le va a cubrir los errores, el que le va a ayudar a cubrir todos los errores que cometieron en el pasado para que no salgan sucios. Es de eso que estamos hablando. Pero yo le estoy recordando al señor Robles lo que él me dijo. ¿Por qué si están cometiendo errores y están pagando para que le borren esos errores para salir bien con el Estado? Están usando dinero del distrito, le vuelven a firmar el contrato. Estos 3 que están de la mesa directiva del lado de este señor tienen que fijarse en los errores que tienen ustedes acá, señores. Y el error es el señor Díaz, entiendan. No sé por qué ustedes quieren tapar el sol con un dedo cuando nosotros estamos dándoles cuenta de las cosas que están pasando. Ustedes saben bien que ese dinero que se están implementando en el FP, que van a ayudarles a esos errores, ese dinero es de los niños, no es de ustedes. Es cierto. Cometieron el error, los que cometieron el error tienen que pagar de su bolsa. Eso es lo que deben de hacer. Entonces nosotros estamos de acuerdo que se quede los años que sea posible. Así paga sus errores y paga con dinero de su bolsa. Gracias.
Thank you. Ms. Benavides, do you need a moment? Yes. Okay. Is there any other public comment on E6?
Sí, nada más un poquito. Así, pues, nada más me gustaría de que así como ustedes también deciden para gastar dinero así a lo loco, yo creo que también me gustaría a mí como papá, que tengo mi niño de 4º año con autismo, creo que también me gustaría pedir públicamente de que también se le contrate específicamente para mi hijo. Y yo creo que muchos papás tienen que pedir lo mismo, porque si hay dinero para gastarlo en tonterías, también hay que tener dinero para gastarlo con los niños que tienen alguna discapacidad. Y creo que yo en lo personal lo estoy haciendo público. Quiero que se me dé el mejor personal para mi hijo, porque los que están ahorita y los que están atendiendo a mi hijo no sirven para nada.
Any other public comment on E6? Seeing none, any comments or clarifications from the board?
I do, oh, okay.
Mr. Vasquez?
You hear me? No, I'm just bringing it up again. I know we keep talking about a recession and we got to save our money. And the thing is that this is another situation where I thought she was here to help us out, to help guide our leadership to be able to withstand and fix some of these items. But for us to go again and say we need more support, I mean, what is our leadership supposed to be helping on this situation. And she's taking the lead for our district, but she's a consultant. So where's our leadership team? What are they leading to? You're off, Carlos.
Is there any other questions or clarifications from the board?
Mhm.
I had one in regards to the contract. Again, I don't think that this is more support, this is continuing support. So I think that last time that this contract came before us, it was for the month. And we said that if at that time we needed more support, we would take it up at that time. If we look at the language says to increase this extension for 1 week. So I think that in regards to some of the comment of other agenda items, knowing that this is probably a touchy subject, the fact that it says 1 week is guaranteeing or cementing the fact that this is something that we hold true and that we want to continue to support to make sure that whatever was not done correctly is done correctly. But we want to make sure that we give that support so we can finish this thing off correctly. If we end support now, I'm afraid that some of the items might fall through the crack. If that's the case, it doesn't just fall on one individual, it ultimately falls on our kids as well. So having that extension for the 1 week increment, I think is something that is a great benefit for our district. Is there any other comment from the board on E6?
I wanted to say, I like that it says 1 week increments rather than, the original contract. I understand that we need it to have that month, but the 1 week increment, I like that rather than it just saying like an additional month or something. The way I see this is like the bones or like the structure of something. In order for us to properly service our students, we need to make sure that our internal organs, bones, heart, whatever it is well put together and running well. And I know the last time we talked, it was disclosed that a mistake was made. And I will reiterate and say that we are all not perfect. We all make mistakes. And naturally, my kids make, we all make mistakes. Every single human makes mistakes. And I know there's only so much that you should or can support, but being that Mr. Diaz's contract was approved for 1 more year, I believe that continuing this contract for a 1 week increment with Pinnacle Educators is important because we need to make sure that we are consistent with that. It's kind of like if we're building a project and we only need the roof to finish it, and we as a board say, okay, we're done. We're not going to pay for the roof to be completed, and that project's just going to get thrown out the window, and the rest of the building is not going to be usable. So that's the way I see things when it comes to things like this. Yes, it may be more money, a little bit more money for that 1 week, but you need to invest in order to have great quality work. And that's what my parents raised me, say with that, knowing that you can't just because you think, oh no, that's too much or whatever it is, you have to be able to set things aside and say, we want to continue making a good structure for our students. And so I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Tienda. Is there any other comment on E6 from the board? Seeing none, Ms. Marroquin, if we can have a roll call vote, please.
Board President Lopez,
Yes.
Board Vice President Molina, Clerk Tienda,
Yes.
Trustee Garza,
Nay.
Trustee Vasquez.
Nay.
Thank you. The outcome being 2 in the affirmative, 3 in the negative, motion fails. Moving on to item E7, award letter for public unlimited project. Mr. Rodriguez.
Yes, the contractor here up for approval for the HVAC project is Buildings Unlimited. This was again a formal process that was done. And so through this process, there were 3 interested contractors, and Buildings Unlimited was the lowest responsible bidder. So the amount is disclosed there. This is only for the HVAC, which stands for the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning for the building. There are very small renovations to be made. And just to make sure that we're clear on that, this is solely for that purpose, is to ensure that we go from the heating and cooling that we had before, just what we call, or what people know as the swamp cooler, that doesn't do very well in high temperatures. We are now moving forward, and this is 60 years plus in the waiting. So I think it's overdue that we install this and move forward with this contract. You have the information before you. The amount you see there is not the total amount. That is pretty much the contractor amount to install. The owner, which is us, Parker Unified School District, will be providing the materials, which is the 2 package units that go on the roof, and then the split system that will cover as far as the stage area. So just want to make sure that we're clear and transparent with everybody on this project. It is a split cost. Contractor will be taken care of as far as the subcontractors that they will hire for this project. And then we will be taking care of the cost for 2 reasons. For the equipment is to speed it up so that we can go ahead and order as far as the units, the equipment, per the spec, per the architect spec, and as far as also a cheaper cost where they couldn't mark it up. So again, that was 2 of the reasons there. And what you have before you again is that amount before you of the $390,573, and that's to Buildings Unlimited. The next bid closest to that was $40,000 more. So again, just so that you have an idea, we did go through the formal legal process, and before you have there the award letter that was written by myself, awarding that to Buildings Unlimited, and it's up for your review and approval so that we can move forward. And if so, we are scheduled for May 18th for a pre-construction meeting so that we can start on June 1st and get them in there. And like I said before earlier, to get this project that's been 60 years overdue.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. Is there a motion for approval?
Motion.
Moved by Mr. Garza. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Vasquez. Is there any public comment on E7?
Yes.
Buenas noches. Sí, sobre eso el sistema de aire acondicionado, yo no les entiendo cómo están los números que ustedes van a comprar material, el otro va a poner el trabajo, o cómo está eso, porque yo soy contratista y yo entiendo que cuando se hace un contrato, a veces se hace con todo el material, se hace una estimación completa y hay veces que hay un acuerdo, que usted pone el material y yo le cobro tanto por el trabajo, pero aquí no estamos hablando de una cifra. ¿Cuánto le costaría ese proyecto al distrito? René.
Yes, it's usually marked up by the contractor, and again, for the 2 reasons, it was because of the markup that they're going to add. So whatever they get it, we'll get it from the same place, but they will mark it up about usually 10%. So we're going to save there. The other reason was for the time. So the time that we're going to save, and instead of waiting for awarding the contractor and finding out, so we're still waiting, we wouldn't have been able to order it. So we would have lost time. And that's usually because these are special 15-ton systems. It takes up to 10 weeks. So we wanted to get ahead in that area. So just trying to get things done a little faster, because construction, like you mentioned, that it takes a long time. And if we can try to do things a little sooner, of course, do them right, we try to take advantage of that.
Esa es una aclaración bien específica. Está muy bien. Así es como el señor Díaz aprende de él. Así es como se hacen las cosas. Se hacen las cosas claritas y con explicaciones para que la gente entienda de qué estamos hablando, qué es lo que se va a hacer, en qué se va a gastar el dinero. Felicidades. Gracias, está muy bien.
Any other public comment on E7?
Not at this time.
Seeing none, any questions or clarifications from the board?
I do.
I got one.
Oh.
Oh, good.
Go ahead.
Mr. Molina?
Mr. Rodriguez, I just wanted to know, do we got a total cost amount for the whole project?
Yes, so the projection cost for the project is roughly $600,000, and that's again with all material, the architect, which we have to have, who drew the plans and make sure that the project is done according to plans. We cannot do that any other way. So again, that's including the material that I just mentioned. That was about $70,000, a little over $70,000. So again, we have a contingency built in there. So it's about, usually in this case, it's 5% contingency of the total project. So you have roughly about 25,000 in contingency, meaning that if we find something that's unforeseen, as we're doing something to the structure, then that money is there, and that would come to the board, of course, because per board policy, you have to bring that to your attention for any change orders. So that would, again, that's just built in to ensure that in case something does come up that's unforeseen, that we would bring that back to you. So again, that's total cost projected by the architect, including final cost.
Okay, you answered my second question. That was contingencies. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Ms. Tienda?
I was going to ask, what is this for all of Burletic? I'm sorry if you already went over that. What areas of Burletic was this for?
This is for the cafeteria that's also shared with the high school. So the cafeteria.
Oh, okay. Thank you. It's good to know that we are continuously getting the HVAC projects done, like the one that was last year or a few years ago at the junior high. And I know we've been working at Chavez and now Burletic, because I've been in those buildings and it's very hot and you're sweating. And so it's good that we make sure that our teachers and our students are in comfortable atmospheres. So thank you.
Yes, and I will provide you an update later in regards to the amount of HVAC systems that we've replaced. We've replaced a lot.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any other questions or clarifications?
I just want to say thank you, Renee, for figuring out how we can cut a little bit of cost and time with this project, getting it ourselves. We know that, companies, they like to mark up and jack up the price so that they can get, their money as well. So I'm glad we were able to kind of figure that out on our own and go to the wholesaler or whoever it was. So appreciate the due diligence and hopefully trying to save us a little bit of money, even though it's a big project. But I'm glad that, all students, staff in that cafeteria who use that cafeteria are going to be in some nice AC. And
You got it. You're welcome.
Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, moved by Mr. Vasquez for item E7, award letter. Please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Voice vote. Moving on to item F, public comment on open and closed session agenda items. Pursuant to Board Bylaw 9323, individual speakers shall be allowed up to 3 minutes to address the board on each agenda or non-agenda item. The board shall limit the total time of public input on each agenda item to 15 minutes. The board shall also limit the total time of public input on non-agenda items under public comment to 20. Is there anyone that wishes to address the board?
Buenas tardes, señor López, de vuelta a mi comentario público. Yo voy a lo mismo. Mis preocupaciones son los estudiantes. Muchos estudiantes están muy bajos. ¿Qué es lo que ustedes van a hacer para seguirlos ayudando a que esos niños tengan la mejor educación cuando los maestros les están diciendo que se salgan? Ya lo dije, repitiendo lo mismo. A tocante, acometiendo, así como están ustedes ayudando al señor Díaz a corregir sus errores, poniendo un mes una semana, 2 semanas, dando más dinero. Inviértanos en educación especial, porque yo he visto, simplemente como les digo, yo estoy aquí exactamente como están 2 padres, 3, 4 padres aquí, viendo la computadora, así estoy yo viendo. Maestros están dando la cara, maestros no están dando la cara con los alumnos. Y a donde yo estoy viendo cómo están enseñando los alumnos, la verdad como padre no me gusta, a pesar de que muchas veces no entiendo el inglés, lo entiendo muy poco. No me gusta cómo los están ayudando. Entonces, hay muchos niños que tienen F. ¿Qué es lo que van a hacer también ustedes para motivar a esos niños que ya están por salir? ¿Cómo los van a ayudar? Vienen las clases también por computadora y todo. Entonces, nomás ustedes necesitan supervisión, pero nuestros hijos no necesitan la supervisión. Ustedes sí necesitan las ayudas. Ustedes están dándole más tiempo al señor Robles para que haga un desorden más, al señor Díaz para que cometa más errores. Y a nuestros hijos, ¿quién va a arreglar los errores de nuestros hijos? Para eso están ustedes allí, señor López. Para eso, para que ayuden a nuestros hijos, para que les den más educación, más apoyo. Si no se los dan, ahora lo estamos viendo. Si hay padres como yo que están observando la educación que se les está dando por computadora, si esa clase se les está dando así, es el mismo apoyo que se les está dando a la escuela, déjenme decirle, estamos muy mal, porque yo lo voy a decir, mi hijo tiene 7 maestros y estoy encantada con 3 maestros, porque se están conectando los sábados, se están conectando los domingos, les están dando apoyo en las tardes, aunque estén comiendo papitas de aquel lado, papitas de este lado, les están dando. ¿Por qué? Porque les interesan esos niños. Esos maestros sí vale la pena de tenerlos, pero los que no, así como el señor Díaz y el señor Robles necesitan apoyo, así necesitamos los padres también apoyo para nuestros hijos. Ojalá y hagan lo correcto, señor López.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment?
No, ya como tenemos, vamos a dar otro comentario público. Buenas noches, señores, mesa directiva. Queremos que francamente ustedes como los jerarquías o los pilares de este distrito, que son los que toman las decisiones, y que se pusieran de acuerdo por lo menos una vez en la vida de poder darle lo mejor a nuestros hijos. Si tienen que tener una reunión con todos los maestros, reúnanlos, explíquenle que si es necesario que cada maestro vaya a las escuelas y den las clases desde su salón, que lo hagan. A cabo van a estar solos. Las escuelas ya están desinfectadas. Y que sea el tiempo necesario de clases que les tienen que dar. Porque francamente les voy a decir, los niños no están aprendiendo nada. Les voy a ser sincero. Muchas de las veces se meten todos a la cámara, hablan un solo relajo, el maestro está diciendo una cosa y otros están riéndose, otros niños están haciendo chistes y es un desorden que se oye. Por ejemplo, así como está usted conmigo aquí ahorita que está en la cámara, que esté el alumno al otro lado, que yo sea el alumno y usted sea el maestro y usted me esté dando las clases, cómo deben de ser, y todos estén conectados mirando al maestro. Entonces el maestro tiene la chance de poder chequear cada alumno, porque tiene la clave de cada iPad, los maestros, para ver si están poniéndole atención o no. Y tener un reporte, este niño no está poniendo atención, o este niño, para que le digan al papá, ¿sabes qué? O si estás en casa, vigila a tu niño, no está poniendo la atención, porque yo no sé cómo que le van a hacer para calificar a estos niños al final del año. Para mí, sugeridamente sería que retrasaran las calificaciones, que no se hicieran en el tiempo que se hace, ya que hemos estado en esta pandemia que a todos los atrasó en todo, y que forzadamente les dieran la escuela de verano a los niños para que puedan alimentarse un poquito más el cerebro de estudios, pero que se haga de una forma formal, que se vea que los maestros son profesionales, que están en la clase y no andan allá en la cocina con el iPad caminando y queriendo dar la clase imaginatoriamente. O sea, son cosas sugeridas solamente. Los únicos que pueden hacer ese cambio son ustedes. Nosotros solamente les podemos decir lo que estamos mirando y lo que está pasando. Ahora, si lo toman en cuenta, qué bueno. Y si no lo toman en cuenta, vamos a ir, como dicen, derechito al fango, porque pues, no hay otra. Solo son 2 caminos. O los componemos o los fregamos más. Esta situación nos ha llevado a tener esa opción de estar en casa, de poder realizar nuestros trabajos desde casa, pero tener el profesionalismo y la simpatía y el interés de poder ayudar al que está al otro lado de la cámara, que son los niños. Eso es lo que yo opino como una persona más, un padre de familia que está, ¿qué le podría decir? Como frustrado viendo lo que está pasando a través de las pantallas. A veces, como dicen el maestro, no pone su pantalla para que no vean lo que está haciendo, solamente está hablando. Entonces, hay muchas cosas que hay que arreglar.
Thank you, sir. Your time is up.
Okay.
Thank you. Is
Is
there anyone that wishes to address the board?
Brenda Rojas otra vez. Se me fue. Ok, de las clases virtuales, porque a mí me dijo el niño de la high school de que todos los trabajos que están haciendo, que no les van a tomar en cuenta los trabajos que ellos hacen y van a seguir con sus calificaciones iguales. Y también pues, entonces digo yo, pues, ¿cuál es el caso de que los niños estén perdiendo el tiempo? Porque para mí prefiero que estén jugando en el juego, y yo hasta ahorita al niño de la high school lo pongo a leer todos los días, lo cual de que en el dinero que tienen también, vamos y volvemos al señor Díaz. Y siempre lo he dicho, no tengo nada en contra de nadie, pero él mismo me lo dijo a mí, que se iba a tener un maestro de literatura, de intervención de literatura, específicamente, no ayudante, maestro de intervención de literatura. Algo que no lo tienen, no sé si estén trabajando para el año que viene, no sé tampoco, pero creo que sí es necesario que lo tengan y que se pongan a trabajar en lo más importante, porque se necesita. Y lo cual, y si no lo va a hacer, como dijo, como tocó el tema Elizabeth de la familia. La junta pasada, ella creo que malinterpretó, hasta incluso fue a reclamarle a una mamá que malinterpretó las palabras que dijo ella. Así como a ella le duele su familia, a mí como mamá me duelen mis hijos, que no le den que no le pongan atención que los niños se merecen. No tengo hijos perfectos, pero creo que de todos los niños que tengo, la niña más chiquita es su único maestro que creo que está poniendo el 100% para enfocarse con los niños. La niña está contenta, hace todo lo que le piden los maestros, tanto del PI, tanto su maestro de siempre. Digo, la conexión y la responsabilidad de cada maestro, que lo tomen el papel importante, porque si no, no vamos a nada. Porque ustedes como mesa directiva no están supervisando el trabajo de los maestros. Y si se tenía que comprar un programa realmente que fuera necesario y 100% capacitado para que estuvieran en los niños, se hubiera hecho, si no, es caso perdido. Estamos jugando como 3 más 3 son 10 y 2 más 2 son 25, y eso creo que no es correcto, porque no creo que un niño de 10 años sepa más de ustedes que tienen, yo creo que son adultos. Hay que ponernos a trabajar para el bien de los niños. Y a lo que dije hace rato, no sé si ustedes están pensando en el regreso a clase el año pasado. ¿Cómo van a estar esos niños? Porque hay niñas que se les tiene que poner insulina. Hay niños que están más propensos al virus o a cualquier enfermedad. Digo, se tiene que contratar más enfermeras también para que estén pendientes a cada uno de los niños, a estarlos monitoreando.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
None at this time.
Okay. Saying none, moving on to item G, board member reports, superintendent's reports. Mr. Garza, we'll go ahead and start with you.
I have no report out.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Vasquez?
Neither.
Okay. Ms. Tienda?
I have no report out, but what I do want to say, because I can see that there's 24 people watching online, whether it's parents or staff members. I do want to say that I can speak, I'm speaking on my behalf, but this is new for all of us. We, as you continuously hear the term, we're in uncharted waters because we don't know, we've never gone through this. And me being here on the board, us being here on the board, this is, we're having to make decisions and plan for next year without knowing how next year is going to happen. Everyone needs help. And that's okay. And that's what that's why we are here for our students, because everyone needs help, from, parents, teachers, staff, especially our students. And we want to make sure that we continue to support them. Thank you to parents that are doing the best that you can, being out there, being the teacher's extension, because I've been told, oh, it's probably easy being at home with your kids because you've been in the classroom teaching. Yeah, no, it's not easy at all. I think it's even harder when it's your own student. But just keep trying your best, and teachers out there as well. I know it's hard going from your own family to your students online, and just continue to give it your 100%, because that's all we can do right now. And everyone that is watching online, I welcome you to come to our meetings. We are here to listen to you. When you voice your concerns, I know that we cannot respond back right away, but you are heard, and I hope and I would want you to understand that. And should anyone have any questions or reasons as to why decisions are made or why I make my decisions, please come to me. I'm here. I'm here as a voice for our students, and I want everyone to know that and to feel comfortable. And I'm all ears at a safe distance, but I am here for everyone, and I know we all are, but just we're here should you have any concerns. Our meetings are safe. We are keeping all our distance. People are in separate rooms. So for everyone watching online, please, you're more than welcome to come on. I'd love to hear from you should you have other opinions or input. And I'm probably talking a lot because we never get that many people. So being online is the opportunity to talk to the 26 people that are watching right now. Yeah, so that's it. We're here for you, and our emails are always available as well. Thank you.
Mr. Molina? Just because I was muted, we can just repeat.
No, I got nothing to report.
Thank you, sir. And I have no report. Mr. Robles?
Just a couple of updates. One is based on your recommendations and feedback, we finally were able to secure some plans for a graduation ceremony. The delay was in finding a vendor that would actually accommodate our needs. So we have finally gotten to the point where we're ready to move forward. I'll share that plan with you, but it is all compliant with the Fresno County Department of Health requirements, the governor's requirements, and your feedback. So we are definitely moving on that. Tomorrow we'll get a small indication of the governor's budget. May revise is May 19. So there's been a lot of speculation about what's going to happen with the budget. I want to caution you to not go too far one way, because the experts that are giving their opinions now their job is to project worst case scenario. I'm not suggesting that it's going to be good. I'm just suggesting it may not be as bad as what some of the experts are projecting. But before we get too far, we'll wait for the May revise, which is on the 19th. And by then we will have a very, very good indication of where we are budget-wise. And then after that, we'll have conversations moving forward on how to best proceed. Summer school, you've already seen those plans. Fresno County Office of Education Superintendent Jovino is assembling a task force of county superintendents to begin planning for what reopening schools will look like in August. We've seen LA Unified has already gone on record to say that they're opening on time. Other districts are starting to formulate plans, and beginning Thursday, Mr. Jovino, Superintendent Jovino, will lead a group of superintendents through conversations on 4, maybe 5 different scenarios of what reopening schools in August will look like. So as that information starts to unfold, I definitely will keep you in the loop. Other than that, just great to see everybody. Thank you to the community for participating either here on site or virtually. And everybody, I wish everybody a great evening. Thank you.
Before we move on, opportunity for any other board members since there was no reports? Okay, seeing none, we'll be moving into closed session. On the agenda is item H1, certificated personnel report, H3, classified personnel report, H3, classified personnel report, H4, administrative certificated personnel report. Now we now convene into closed session. The time is 7:51. What's that? Yeah, you can go ahead and exit the meeting. We'll be needing to get back in, or at least I will, to report out from closed session. Oh, right. I was just answering Joe's question. If I think that just from the past meetings, I think that we are okay with you being excused. So thank you. I think. Did you hear that, Amy?
We're not able to hear Amy.
Amy, can you hear us? Okay.
Okay. I think at this time, it would be okay to be dismissed. So thank you very much for your assistance today. Thank you. Okay, once again, moving into closed session. So.